Welcome to mikegoldengames, and welcome back to another benchmarking episode. I hope you guys are enjoying these so far. For this one, we are doing Watch Dogs Legion with maxed out ultra settings, 4K resolution, VSync turned off, of course. We are on the Ryzen 9 5950X CPU, that is the 16-core processor from AMD. We're on the Asus Crosshair 8 Formula motherboard. We are also running the Nvidia GeForce RTX 3080 XC3 Ultra by EVGA, and we are running a Corsair iCue H100i RGB Pro XT 240mm AIO liquid cooler, which really does keep the CPU nice and cool, even though, I mean, compared to Intel, this processor runs like ice cold. Anyways, I digress. Let's get into it. And just so you can see display, we got the RTX 3080 right there. Full screen, 4K resolution. My monitor is only 60 hertz, but we do have VSync turned off, so we will see the maximum FPS that we will get. This game is, I feel, a little unoptimized. It's not that well optimized. So if we go over to quality here, we got DirectX 12, graphics quality custom, so everything is maxed out ultra, as you can see. Headlight shadows for vehicles, reflections ultra, depth of field on. Motion blur, turn that off because who needs that? Bloom, we got turned on. Ambient occlusion, TAA anti-aliasing. Subsurface scattering on high. It's as high as it'll go. Ultra ray traced reflections. And this is where it gets a little, like I was talking about, a little like not optimized. So with DLSS turned on ultra performance, it turns the ray tracing kind of muddy. Yeah, it makes it kind of blurry, which is really sad. But if we turn this off, we drop down to like 20 frames, which we can show you after we run the main benchmark with DLSS turned on, extra details at 100%, and temporal upscaling 100. So this is everything maxed out. And the other thing you can see with the RTX 3080 graphics cards, it only has 10 gigs of VRAM, and this game uses almost 9,000 of that 10,000 VRAM. So it is getting a little bottlenecked, I would say. Maybe I should have waited for a 3080 Ti if they ever release that, but that could be almost a year down the road. Who knows when that'll actually come out? Maybe it comes out January and I'll be pissed. But you know what? There's always something better out there. Let's get into this benchmark. I really do hope you guys enjoy this one. Almost forgot to add, we are going to use MSI Afterburner to get the GPU and CPU monitoring set up right here. If you have any suggestions on any ways you want to see this changed, let me know, but this is the current setup we have. So we got all the cores showing and the frame rate and all that good stuff. GPU temperature and all that. So yep, let's get on into it. And currently the CPU is at about 45 degrees. It's off of my Formula motherboard's OLED readout. I was just checking my battery backup that my computer's plugged into. We're running at about 605 watts. I'm pretty sure that's like 200 watts more than my 1080 Ti. This is a really power-hungry graphics card, isn't it? Damn. CPU's running at about 53 degrees right now. Alright, so now that that's over with, we're going to take a look at these stats really quick. Once we're done looking at these frame rates and all that, we will run the test one more time with the recording software turned off. That way we can get an actual one-to-one how it should be when you're playing the game. Because the recording software, that can definitely lower the frame rates substantially, as we saw in the Ghost Recon Breakpoint benchmark that we did. So it looks like maximum FPS was 86, average FPS around 54, which, like I was saying, I feel like this game isn't very optimized, where Breakpoint was breaking like 110 FPS, maybe 80 FPS average, so this game is definitely getting a lot less FPS, and minimum FPS of 17. Little odd. It also shows the 1% low and the 0.1% low, which is pretty nice. As you can see, we're using 8.66 gigabytes out of 9.84 gigabytes. So we're almost maxed out on the GPU. RAM, we're only using about 6.23 out of 32 gigs. CPU load, 61%. On OBS, we are using more of the encoding on the CPU bound. GPU load was at 99%. So let's run this test one more time with the recording software completely turned off. That way we can get an actual one-to-one report of how the game plays. Alright, so we just ran the benchmark one more time without OBS running, and we got a maximum of 101 FPS, average of 62 FPS. As you can see, that's a lot higher than it was when we were actually recording, so that does go to show that it may still be a beneficial idea to run a 2-PC setup if you do plan on streaming and playing in 4K. Now, at 1080p, we will do another video for 1080p just to see what numbers we can get. If you're playing at 1080p, you should be fine. But in 4K, it really still is a pretty big stress on the graphics card, especially when you're recording. A minimum FPS of 37. So that's still... So, anyways, we will now run this one more time with DLSS turned off, so you can see it's doing something. It really is, but because when you have it turned off, we're at like 20 FPS. So that's why I'm saying I don't understand how this game is optimized. So let's go here, video, scroll all the way down to DLSS, and let's turn it off. Apply that. It says minor CPU and GPU load. Interesting, because when we go here, this is going to get a little sketchy. Alright, here we go, and FPS is 20, 21. Really, really low. But if you look at the reflections, like in the water and everything, they do seem to be a lot more clear. And that's weird. On my screen on OBS, the readout for all the instruments for the CPU and everything, it's kind of flickering. It's not doing that on my end in the game, but in the recording software it looks like it is. As you can see, it's pretty stuttery. Yeah, but look at the reflections in the water. That looks so much better with DLSS turned off. So again, I just think the game isn't optimized. Maybe they can do some updates to it to make it, play a little better, because it's a little chunky in different points. Anyways, I really... Alright, I'm going... that guy just got lit up. I'm going to leave this here. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. We're not even going to finish that test there. I really do hope you guys enjoyed it, though. Seriously, let me know what you thought in the comments below. Maybe consider subscribing if you haven't already, as well as hitting the little bell icon on the channel. That way you stay notified when the videos go up and when we do live streams. And for when we do, the next Watch Dogs Legion benchmark in 1080p, maxed out ultra settings with DLSS turned on. And I guess we could turn it off as well and see what it looks like, just like in this benchmark. So, alright guys, I really hope you enjoyed it. Take it easy.